Everyone is saying that Gemini 3 is the best AI designer, and in this video, we're going to put it to the test. I'm going to use Gemini 3 inside of Google's AI Studio, which is free to use at ai.dev, and we're going to cover a few different use cases of design, and you're going to see the quality of results that you're able to get with Gemini 3. So here we are in Google's AI Studio. We're just going to go ahead and go to the Build tab on the top left. So we're going to go to the Build tab on top left. And this is where we can actually build, but you can build both landing pages and websites, but you also can build full apps with basically MVPs of apps with backends and databases. And then you can export it, add Supabase, add a database, add authentication. So there's a lot that you can do. But in this video, we're going to focus just on the static website design aspect of things. Now, everything that you build in Gemini 3 can be synced to GitHub. If you're not familiar with GitHub, it's basically a website that you can host all of your code on. So all of the code that's being created here in AI Studio, you can sync with GitHub, and then in GitHub, you will own all of the code. So we're going to start with an agency landing page. So the prompt is pretty simple, but I do steer it a little bit. So I'm saying build a really cool and unique modern landing page for an agency that works with companies to implement AI automations for them. I want it to look really professional and legit and convince companies to hire the agency. So a few things to call out there is I'm saying unique. So I don't want it to look like every other landing page. I'm saying what the service is to give it some context. I want it to look professional and convince companies to hire. So basically trying to steer it a little bit, but also giving it the space to come up with some idea. And then once we see the first draft, we can then prompt it to go in different directions. So I'm going to go ahead and build that, and we'll let Gemini 3 build out the first draft of the landing page. And then once we see the result, we can work together to try to keep improving it as we go. And real quick, if you aren't familiar with Google's AI Studio and haven't used it before or seen some of our other videos, so this is basically an area where Google lets you use their models for free. It's really meant for developers, although anyone can use it. And they're hoping that developers are going to use the platform and then export the code and start building apps that integrate with Google's AI models. Because when you're building, let's say, an AI app here, if it's not just a landing page, it's going to automatically integrate AI functionality from the Google suite of models. Now, they also want to impress developers with the capabilities. So if you're a developer and you're using this and you see that, the Gemini 3 is really great at designing and we're happy with the results in this video, for example, then they want you to keep building with it. So it's basically a tool to attract developers to the platform. And we have the first draft ready. So something I want to keep in mind, or want you to keep in mind as you're reviewing this, is not only the design, but it also wrote all the copy, and the copy makes sense. So that's something that I've found Gemini 3 is really good at, is creating copy that's really good inside of the landing pages that it created. Now, of course, we can ask it to make changes to any of this, but let's take an overall look and I'll give you my feedback on the landing page. Overall, I do like it. I think that it has this nice dark mode design. It does have some purple, but it's not all purple the way that a lot of AI designs were before this model. I've noticed the previous models would generally be fully purple. This is more of a blue, different color. It actually built an entire AI chat into the landing page, which is kind of funny that it did that, but I kind of like it. I think that's interesting, and maybe this could be highlighted a little bit more now that I'm thinking about it. And then, I like how it has, 1, 2, 3, 4, and ready to automate growth. So I'm thinking of a couple things that we could do to potentially improve this design even further. The feedback that I'm giving in here is I want to have a more eye-catching design or mock-up in the hero section to really show our capabilities, because I think this is just kind of boring. It's just text. I also like the live chat demo, but I think it should be highlighted a bit more because it's a really cool part of the page. And then also just giving overall feedback that it still looks a little bit AI generated. So I want it to be more unique and kind of take it to the next level. So let's see what Gemini 3 comes up with for the next result. We have our new version ready, and I'm really impressed with what it came up with. So I asked it to basically create something more interesting, and it designed this whole section on the right side with some movement, and it looks really good. I think there could be some more tweaks, but overall, I really like it. The copy, maybe I would change it a little bit, but overall, I do think it's cool. core competencies. Yeah, this is also really nice. Like, it's not just the basic grid. I like how each of them are different sizes. Really impressed with that as well. Then I really like how it did highlight this live demonstration, an AI chatbot basically inside of our page. Then the protocol, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Oh, and I like this at the bottom as well with the dots. So it did take it to the next level, in my opinion. I really like it. I think it's a really nice agency website. Let's see if we can take this even to the next level. So as a next step, we're going to make this a little bit more interactive as a mockup to have everything go to I meant to say CTA, but CT, it'll know what I mean, call to action, to fill out a form to get a quote and then build the form out in the same style of the site. That's something nice about AI is even if you make a typo, it knows what you mean almost all the time. So we're going to see what it does to build out that additional piece. But overall, I mean, I think Gemini 3 just in 2 prompts has built out a really polished website, and like we could keep going and building more onto it. But in my opinion, this is a lot nicer than what I've seen from other types of AI builders or AI models, especially really quickly. I mean, it's kind of amazing that you're now able to build websites that look this good so quickly. So we have our final version here of our draft. And basically what we did is if we click any of these buttons, the call to action buttons, it is opening up this form in the same style of the rest of our site. So this is really cool. Overall, I'm very impressed with this first result. Let me know in the comments what you think as well. And then we've got a couple more examples to do in this video to really see what this model is capable of. So the next prompt we're going to do is for a SaaS landing page. So we're going to do this for a company that's maybe similar to Ramp. If you haven't heard of Ramp, they basically provide business credit cards for spend visibility and control. They do other things around that for businesses, but I think as an overall topic, that's going to be interesting. I wanted to have cool animated sections and mockups of the UI to showcase the feature set. This is the part that I'm really interested to see what result we get and what it does with that. And then I'd like the color scheme to be white, orange, and black. So basically just giving it a color scheme to work with. And I'm actually curious if it's going to go with a dark background because I said black or a light background because I said white. So I guess we'll have to see what it comes up with. And then I gave it orange as like a pop of color to work with as well. So yeah, let's see what it comes up with. And then we can go back and forth again to tweak the design and see what kind of professional designs we're able to get out of Gemini 3. And as you can see, like these are not super complicated prompts. You don't have to be an expert designer to come up with this kind of thing. So it really is accessible for anyone watching to actually create designs just like I'm doing. I have our first result here. It even came up with a brand name of Flux. I like that it has this kind of new feature here on the top. I think that's something that I see on SaaS pages sometimes, and it just makes it feel like it is a kind of adding features and improving. So I think overall the header, again, I think it could be a little better with maybe like a 3D credit card or something like that. I'll ask for that in the next update. Let's keep going down. So it has real-time visibility. You're able to actually hover, so it's a little interactive, which is cool. Everything you need to scale. And here, again, I want it to be like animated without having to hover, but overall, not bad at all for a first draft. And then here we have a CTA. So for a first draft, it's definitely not bad, but I have a few things that I can think of that would make this even better. So I'm asking for 2 new features. I want to add a 3D credit card type element in the hero. I don't know why the screen is blinking. And I want feature set to have animations on them automatically without hovering. So we have our new version here, and it did create this moving 3D credit card on the right side, which is crazy that it was able to do that and add that in. I think that it looks pretty good. Let's keep going down. So it kept this section, and then let's keep going down. And yeah, it added kind of some of the things that I asked for. So it's having some animations. This is moving. These are moving. So yeah, all the sections now have moving animations, which is really good. And again, maybe it could be improved a little bit, but overall, very cool. We probably don't want to have this empty space here at the bottom. And then the CTA. So overall, it listened pretty well to my instructions. So it was really impressive for the SaaS landing page. And it did a good job of applying my suggestions. And again, that was only 2 prompts. So there's, of course, more that we could do to keep tweaking, editing. But that is really impressive for a first try. with the SaaS landing page. And it's actually showing you what's possible with some of the like moving animations and things like that. And I want to do one more concept, which is going to be building websites for local businesses. So I'm going to say I want to build a website for a local business that offers sauna and cold plunge services. Please appeal to the millennial customer and make the design really nice and modern and use pastel colors. So let's see what it does for something like this. It's a local business, but maybe a little bit more appealing to the type of young millennial who would be interested in this kind of service. So let's see what Gemini is able to come up with here. We have our first design here. We came up with a little name. It had added an image, but here we could add an image of the actual physical site if it were really our business. I do like how it came up with copy, like I mentioned before. It's giving the services, sauna, plunge, contrast therapy, basically coming up with I like how it's funny that it's adding in these AI features. I'm pretty sure AI Studio has a prompt that's telling it to include some of these AI features to show developers what's possible with AI. It even says powered by Gemini AI, which is funny. But I do like what it came up with. It's like an AI sales kind of funnel to tell people what they might want to book. And then it has booking at the bottom. So overall, I would say it's fine. I think I want to take it to the next level though. So I'm going to say this is not bad, but I think it still feels generic and like an AI generated website. Make it really feel unique and high quality design. So just a simple prompt like that can usually take it to the next level. So I'm going to see what it comes up with. But again, it's not like this is bad. And this is still better than probably like most local business websites are terrible. And that's just a business in itself. If you want to start an agency on your own, use Gemini 3, build websites. You can even pre-build it because you can see how easy it is to build. Go to the local business, say, hey, I just created this website for you. If you want it, I can set it up for you. You can charge them $50 a month. You could host this on Netlify, and it wouldn't even cost really much money at all to host and maintain. And then, charge them $50 a month. And then if they need any changes, you can do that for them. And that in itself is an amazing business if you want to just get started with how to make money using AI. And in your own city or town, go to local businesses and try to sell them websites. So okay, this is loading. It's going to come up with the updated files. Now, another idea you could do with that is, you can see how easy it is to build. So you could create 3 different versions of the website and say, hey, here's version 1, version 2, version 3. Which design do you like? It really shows that you've put in work into their business. And I think that there's a lot of ways you can use AI to help scale yourself. And in a way that before AI would have been pretty much impossible to pre-build 3 websites for a business without even knowing if you're going to get the sale. But today, it's so much easier to do it. You could have 3 windows open, build out the 3 designs of the website. In 10 minutes, you could be done, and then you could show it to them. So yeah, this is just an idea as I'm building as I'm seeing the quality of these designs, I'm getting ideas of, how you can use it, whether it's inside your own business or to start a business selling to other people. So if you're watching this video, you are way ahead of the curve of knowing what's possible in AI. Most people have no idea this is possible. A lot of people don't even know you can use AI to even build a website in the first place, let alone know that there's a new model from Gemini that is creating these amazing designs. And okay, wow. So here we go. It took my feedback and did a really good job with it. Just based off of this initial landing page, it already looks way, way better in the hero section. So the font is way better. I like how it picked Austin, because that's probably a likely location for a business like this. I really like this moving text here. It looks like there was a little bug where it needs to continuously go without having the blank part at the end, but still really good. The colors are much better here. Yeah, there's like little parts that could be improved, but overall, much better. Much better. I don't love that icon. I still feel like that's like an AI generated icon, but still not bad. But it still has this like AI functionality, and it's going to create this personal protocol on the right side. The memberships, this all looks a lot better. This is really impressive. Also, like on the bottom, it did Austin, LA, and New York. Yeah, that makes sense for where this type of business would be, but it could be in any major city, I would say. And then, yeah, it created this recommended session. Yeah, okay. Overall, really like what it did here. Much better. And this is just to show you the power of a prompt that just says, this is not bad, but it feels generic and like an AI generated website. Make it feel really unique and high quality design. Okay. This is really fun. I think I could keep going on and on for a long time with this and have a lot of fun continuing to build. And yeah, if there's any other ideas you would like to see, leave it in the comments and maybe I'll make another video designing more types of websites with Gemini 3. So for this last example, I'm going to do a personal website. And the example we're going to do is for a developer. I want it to look like an actual computer terminal, but also have unique elements to showcase what the developer has done and their resume. So we're going to make it unique, but also do a personal website design. So let's see what Gemini 3 is able to come up with this example. All right, so we have our first landing page draft, and it really is like a terminal, and it looks like it's telling me to type help for available commands. So I can type help. Now it has the sections, about, it has information. I can type skills. That's pretty cool. It built this like competency matrix. I can hit clear and then help again, contact, and then it's putting my info, chat, please provide a message using chat your message. So do chat hello. Let's see what happens. It's funny. So then it also built in like an actual AI chat inside of the actual program. So, okay. Overall, I think this is really cool, but I think that it's a little bit maybe too developer focused and not user friendly for someone who might be like a hiring manager who isn't a developer, who doesn't really understand how to use it. So I think it's a little bit too much. So let me ask it to tone it down a little bit and make it a little bit more user friendly. So just saying it's cool, but it needs to be more user friendly. Remember, not everyone looking at the site will be a developer who understands how to use a terminal. And it's telling us on the left side what it's going to do. So to make it more user friendly for non-developers while maintaining the cool aesthetic, they're going to implement a quick launch system with an interactive toolbar, clickable command histories, smart suggestions, and visible cues. I'm using this example just to show you that, yeah, of course it can create more basic personal websites, but it can also create more unique and creative personal websites. So here we have our new personal website created, and that's cool. It has GUI mode active, which is going to have these buttons. Otherwise, it would just be a command line like we had before. So you can interact by typing commands or clicking one of these buttons, which I think is really smart. So if I click about, there we go. So it's going to have more information. I can click view projects. It's going to show them, contact me. So this I like a lot more. I think it's just a lot better in terms of UI, user interface, especially for people who don't know how to use a command line. So it actually did a really good job, in my opinion, of listening to the feedback that we gave it and coming up with another version. We did a landing page for an agency, a landing page for a SaaS company, and now a personal website for a developer. Overall, I am still impressed with Gemini 3, especially from the design angle of things. I think that the designs that it's coming up with are honestly, I think some of the best that I've seen. I think this beats Anthropic's Claude model. Now Claude is still a great designer, but I think that Gemini 3 just comes out a little bit more polished. It feels like there's just a little bit more intelligence behind it. And it's almost like just the designer is a little bit more experienced and creating things that don't just look like AI designs, in my opinion. I think they just look a little bit better. So I've been really impressed with this. Hopefully you have too. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Gemini 3 as a designer. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this. I'm always learning about the newest AI tools and models and everything available. And I try to use this YouTube channel to share all of that with you. So as I'm learning, you can learn as well. So thanks again for watching. Again, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you think of these videos. If there's anything you want me to do in the future, just let me know, and we'll see you in the next one.